Welcome to smartsocial.com. I'm Josh. Today, I want to introduce you to Coach Kevin, and we're going to talk about how we can build confidence. And parents, if you're saying, I wish my son or daughter had more confidence, more self-esteem, we want to talk about that here just real quick. And I want you to also get to know Coach Kevin and our process. So, Coach Kevin, if a parent came to you and said, my son or daughter is not feeling confident, what can I do? Am I causing this? What can I do? What can I say? Why would I ever want a coach in my life? I feel like I can fix this on my own. What are your thoughts on that?
A couple different thoughts. Self-confidence is a hard skill to build, especially these days when these kiddos are bombarded with all sorts of input from online and social media and TikTok and YouTube with people that really are not giving the true representation of their lives, and it makes our kiddos feel worse about themselves. So, number one, to develop confidence, I believe that it is developing a sense of their core values and their core beliefs. And you as parents have probably already done a great job of that, making sure they practice things like kindness, being respectful, all those sort of traits that make a human being one that can be liked amongst their peers. But the second thing, and really the one of the most important things that parents can do to build self confidence in their child, is to give them choices and the ability to make the choices on their own. Because when you give your child the ability to make a choice, all sorts of things come to light that they need to think about. The effects of that choice, what's going to happen to them when they make the choice, what's going to happen to the others around them when they make the choice, and how is their life going to be once they make that choice. And their ability to reason and come up with a solution and make a choice that's going to have a positive impact is probably the number one thing that can help develop their self-confidence.
I want to add to that as well. And this is something Coach Kevin, I know, believes in as well, is failure will happen. And in this program, we're embracing failure a little bit. We're redefining that. Sometimes kids will go, but those are my friends. Yeah, but they're mean to you. How about we redefine who they are until they've earned the right to become a
Mm.
friend? And the same thing is true for failure. Failure is an event. It's not a person. And we like to let students know, hey, you might bump your knee again in the future, and that's okay. Let's figure out how to move on from that. It doesn't mean you're always going to bump your knee. And how do we embrace that failure so that when the kid is ready at the age of 25 someday in the future, they are employable. They have great friendships, relationships. They have great dialogue with those that are important. They have confidence, self-esteem, and all the things that Coach Kevin is talking about right now are going to help them to be that awesome, employable, incredible, resilient student that we're looking to build. Coach Kevin, so he talked a little bit about giving them choices. What are some of the dialogue starters you think parents could use and that we would suggest that they could use to unlock a few of those choices or guide their teens?
The number one tool is open-ended questions. Ask them questions that do not require just a yes or no answer. Ask them questions that lead them to pull the knowledge out of their subconscious, because that's when they'll really start to understand how much power they have. And when they feel like they have power and when they feel like they're in control, that's when I think you're going to see them start to make some pretty mature and sophisticated decisions all on their own based on what the ramifications of those choices are going to be.
Parents, there's a phrase out there. It's a little bit of a fancy phrase, but Smart Social is built on this foundation of social emotional learning. And that's really what Coach Kevin is hitting on. There's always these things where if you have a dialogue with a kid about robbing a bank, why is robbing a bank bad? Well, kids know now because they've seen it in movies. You get arrested, we all know. We've done the math in our head, like bad, bad, bad. But sometimes if we go down a route where we don't know that negative self-talk is impeding our confidence and no one's had that talk with us, is, whoa, we're going down that route and that's bad. If we don't help students to think about that and go, well, maybe that isn't a good idea. Maybe I am limiting myself. So what Coach Kevin's really doing with these open-ended questions and then diving into them is social emotional learning. If your kid can't learn it and really do the math on their own, doing the math in their head builds confidence. Like, whoa, I figured that out on my own. I feel a little bit better. That's what this program's all about, is how did you arrive at that answer? Is that the right answer? It sounds like the right answer. How about we add value to that? Great. And then second, once they've arrived at that answer, how do we reiterate that so they know how to connect the right answer to when failure happens? And once again, failure is a strong word. And sometimes we as Americans love this, but we see that as, oh no, we can't fail. We at Smart Social want your kid in a closed space, a safe space, to try a million different ways. You get that math problem wrong 37 different ways, but when you get it right, you understand all the ways. The light bulbs that are in all of our offices, there's 10,000 tries. You could call them failures, tries, or 9,999 ways that they can't be invented. And then the 10,000th one became what we're all using. And there's iterations on that. We actually want to embrace that safe space of let's try it. Let's think through it. Okay. How do we build upon that? Coach Kevin does all that and more. Social emotional learning. It's being used in schools. Every one of our dialogue starters below our modules, if you choose to dive into coaching with us or just taste test it, you're going to see a lot of questions that are open-ended that will ask, what are your thoughts on if this happens to you? How would you behave? What would you do to a friend if this happens? And the student has to then connect the dots, do the math, and they go, huh. And parents, the biggest tip is if you ask those questions, as Coach Kevin said, then the teens have to answer it. They're not getting preached to. They're instead having to come up with the answer. And that is where we see it stick in them. Coach Kevin, I want to leave you with the last word. Parents are on the fence. I don't know. I think they'll come out of that being stuck. What would you tell them if they're on the fence about seeking a mentor or a coach?
I would ask them, what would it be like if we can help your child get unstuck in the next 6 to 8 weeks and get the results that you're looking for?
Absolutely. And that's really the answer. Parents, what would it look like if your student, if they're stuck now and they're a little bit behind and it's keeping them from being engaged in school, keeping them from making new friends at school? What is that going to do to them 2 years from now? And that's what we want to do. This is why this program is so important to us. My life's mission here at smartsocial.com is to keep your kids safe online so they can shine online and in person someday. Some parents need to get to that step, and that's what we're here to do. If you're meeting with one of our professionals, please show up a couple minutes early. Bring a trusted co-parent, spouse. If you're a single parent, come. We love you. We're going to become your new family. We're going to give you the tools, the team, the technology, and the teaching that you need to get your kid to the next level. This is, you can tell, our passion and what we're doing here. Go Google us, take a look at what we're doing. We've been in hundreds of school districts nationwide, personally traversed this whole country, 29 out of the 50 states for speeches, speaking to 250,000 kiddos, just like your kid. We feel like we've seen it all, and we want to help you with a custom tool and solution that might work for your family. We'll see you all very soon. Thanks so much for all the support for smartsocial.com. Have a great day.